Okay, we are about 14 nautical miles from Monty, which is just outside of Wrexham, and we are rapidly coming up on the terminator, if you like, for True Earth GB South. Don't know why this has been happening a little bit. Suddenly half the text was my aircraft are not loading. I don't know why. It's a bit odd. But there it is, look, there's the line. Ignore the aircraft for a minute.
Flight level 310. Climbing to flight level 310.
There it is, there's the line. We're crossing the line right now. I think I might have a VRAM problem with my machine at the moment, so that would explain why the text aren't loaded. But yeah, we've just crossed the boundary. So, you know, at first glance it doesn't look that different, does it? But it really kind of is. Really kind of is, because one is made up of, you know, realistic looking textures, although you can see they're having trouble popping in at the moment. Yeah, I think there really is a memory problem on this machine right now. There we go, it's all filling in. They do say that the 64-bit sim can't have out of memory errors, but you know what, that depends on how much memory you've got stored in your PC. But anyway, let's get back into the cockpit. So back to your normal view. The aircraft back in the cockpit. There it is. So just outside Wrexham is the dividing line. Next thing of interest for you will be Liverpool, which is a little way ahead. So I'll see you when we get to Liverpool. Okay, we're approaching Liverpool, so the area you can see ahead is the Liverpool area. So I'm not quite sure what this inlet is called that we're about to go over. We're about to hit West Kirby, and then the wall VOR, and Liverpool is basically there. So once again, in order for you to see anything useful, I need to hop over to the host and show you the outside view. So here we go. That I think is Liverpool Airport down there. And then the actual city itself is down here. So that's the Mersey. That is Birkenhead, almost immediately beneath the aircraft on the one side, and Liverpool on the other. Now, at this detail level, I'm not seeing an awful lot of buildings, and because it's not True Earth, you're not seeing real photo scenery. So to be brutally honest, it's not anywhere near as impressive as it would be if we were still in True Earth. That line, I think, is, I don't know, I think it might just be a line of the scenery. I don't think it's the line of the real world. Could be some kind of row of buoys or something, but I'm not aware of anything. And I can't see anything on the actual satellite image. So that's Liverpool. Hopefully, when True Earth Central, True Earth GB Central comes out, we'll be able to go over Liverpool again and see a lot more detail. But for now, I'm afraid that is kind of all she wrote. And now is when you can see that the FTXEU scenery, whilst interesting, is certainly not anywhere near as good as the True Earth. I mean, look at that rather odd strip of land there that's just appeared. I'm not even sure what that's supposed to be. I think it might be supposed to be water. Can't really tell. I think it is supposed to be water. Anyway, back into the cockpit.
Climb and maintain flight level 270. Climb and maintain flight level 270, easy 196.
So we're now back over the North Sea, and we're about to hit Gun 2, and then we'll be 9 miles from Bilbao. Bilvo, we're going to Subbuck. That's quite a distance. That'll take us out of the North Sea and then back over Barrow in Furness, and then over Cumbria, the Lake District, some nice looking mountains and bits of water. Again, we may have a look at some of that as we go past, but it's still not going to be as good as if we were in True Earth. I don't want to spend the whole of this flight lamenting the fact that we're no longer in True Earth and therefore things are not as good. But it is a bit of a revelation in scenery terms, I have to say, even at this kind of altitude. So, when we get to Subbuck and there's some mountains to be seen, as long as the clouds permit, I will bring you back. Maybe see if we can see some of the lakes of the Lake District. And from there, we're going to take a little bit of a right turn and head over past Carlisle and into Scotland. And then we'll be into FTX EU Scotland.
Seabird 12 November, turn left heading 330.
Probably about another 40 minutes to go to Edinburgh.
Right, line at 408. Yes, come back to 250 knots, it's not already, and descend up to flight double 8 today.
But you won't need to watch all of that. So I'll see you when we get to Subbuck. Okay, we're just crossing over Barrow in Furness, a little bit early. Subbuck is still ways ahead, but what I thought I would do is have a quick listen to the destination ATIS. Now, when you use the Active Sky ATIS, which is what you do with Pro ATCX, because Pro ATCX doesn't do its own ATIS, there's a couple of frequencies you can dial. So 122.0 will give you the ATIS for your departure airport. Well, actually it will give you the ATIS for the nearest airport geographically, but obviously that's departure when you start. 122.02 on the other hand will give you the ATIS for your destination airport. 122.05 will give you a weather briefing for the whole flight. So let's just have a listen to the Edinburgh ATIS.
Echo Golf Papa Hotel Airport Information Bravo 1720 Zulu Weather Wind 04 2 at 6 Visibility 10,000 Sky clear Temperature 14 Dew point 9 QNH 10 Echo Golf Papa Hotel Airport Information Charlie 1720.
Okay, sounds like conditions are nice enough there. Should be nice weather for landing. As you can see, the cloud has cleared away a bit. Some nice cloud shadows on the sea, specular highlighted by the setting sun. These are the kind of views where having a good graphics card really helps. If only it was True Earth GB, it would be even better. So, if you know the geography of the UK, you know that the southern bit of Scotland kind of sticks out a bit to the west, and particularly you've got sort of the Galloway belt and then the dangly bit over there, which sometimes people compare to a certain portion of the male anatomy. I wouldn't possibly do that because this is a family-friendly channel, but that is all ahead of us. So we're kind of in the last gasp of England at this point. The border is just beyond this inlet here. So that over there is Gretna. And Gretna is kind of the first Scottish town that we will encounter on the way. So Carlisle is on one side of the border and Gretna is on the other side. And then just over there-ish is Lockerbie, where of course back in the 80s there was the tragic crash of I forget the flight number. It was Boeing 747, I believe it was, a great tragedy for aviation. So all respect to those who died and to those who are left behind. One of the worst aviation disasters in British history. Now, I'm not entirely sure if the white you can see here is low cloud or if it's actually mountain snow. I mean, it's April now, so would that qualify for the winter textures? Surely it would qualify for the spring textures, but maybe some of the mountains have snow on them in the spring textures. I don't really know. Of course, again, GB South True Earth ships with only the one season. So if you want to fly True Earth in winter, I'm afraid you're going to get exactly the same as you get in summer. Now, maybe at some point Orbix will do something about that. I know that they know it's something people really want, but they'd either have to acquire a completely new set of aerial photography for each season, or they'd have to find some way to process the terrain to make it look better. I've always wondered if it's not possible to put actual weather effects into the sim, so have the sim itself alter the terrain textures. So yeah, because most winter textures tend to be just snow all over the place. Well, sorry, but this is Britain. It doesn't snow that often, and when it does, it doesn't snow for long periods of time. So in the winter, chances are that you're not going to have snow, but you will certainly have, you know, brown fields and lots of dead vegetation. So you would have thought it would be possible to have variable weather and maybe superimpose snow over parts of the landscape. Don't really know whether that's possible or not, but that would be a good way of dealing with it. Okay, we're very firmly in Cumbria and the Lake District. Let's see what we can see if we again pop outside for a moment. What can we see down there?
USA 49, Scottish 129.0.
Well, there's definitely some hills.
USA 49, 127.
The highest mountains in England, I think, are all in the Lake District, but they're not massively high. They don't really look like it here either, sorry. Yeah, there we are. That's the Lake District. That big, long, snaky one off the wing, I think, is Windermere. Again, True Earth GB. Presumably at this point, True Earth GB North should make that pretty spectacular. So, looking forward to when I've got the whole country covered and I can do this kind of flight, show off all the scenery. In the meantime, we're passing past Carlisle. That's Carlisle down there, and we are about to enter Scotland. You can't see any dividing lines because it's all back scenery and it just blends nicely. But that is Scotland. And we have a descent instruction. Back into the cockpit. Okay, we haven't quite reached top of descent yet. For some reason, I am unable to operate my MCP. Not quite sure what's going on there. Let's find out. Okay, so it looked like the MCP crashed. I have been slightly worried about that before. There might be a power supply problem with it. Anyway, I'm just going to have to make sure the right modes are on. So VNAV mode should be on, LNAV mode should be on. And now the aircraft will descend. Auto throttle is armed. Flight director is armed. So that was unfortunate. MCP crashed and I lost my autopilot. To look at the power supply for that and see what's going wrong there. Okay, so we're descending.
Descend to flight level 170.
Descend to flight level 170, Speedbird 7190.
Manchester, centre, EZ74, with you passing flight level 250 for flight level 290. EZ74, maintain present altitude. present altitude, EZ74. EZ74. Roger, descend to flight level 240. Descending to flight level 240. EZ74.
Okay, yeah, so that is snow on the mountaintops. You can see that now. Now, it's not very far to Edinburgh at all, actually. Just going over the Scottish control. So, the channel that you can see ahead of us there is actually the Firth of Forth. And Edinburgh is to be found pretty much here. That's Edinburgh.
Scottish, speedbird 7190.
Now we're landing on runway 06, which is basically that way. So in theory it should be a straight shot in. Now I think, recalling from a practice flight, what happened was they let me fly all the way to EDN, which is a beacon just to the northeast of the airport, and then vectored me basically on the downwind past the airport by about 20, 25, 30 miles, and then had me turn around for my final approach. So that's what I'm expecting today. Should be a fairly straightforward arrival. That'll be an ILS landing. It may well be an auto land. See how I feel about it. If you watched my last video, you'll have seen an auto land. Most pilots don't like auto land. They say that the autopilot lands the aircraft generally pretty heavily, and passengers don't like them. I've no idea how often I have actually auto landed in the real world. I've done only very few approaches in very bad weather, so maybe I've not done many. In the sim, the auto land appears to be but smooth, but perhaps we should respect the real world and do the approach on manual from 1,000 feet or thereabouts. And the sim, it's only about 7 o'clock. So it's a little bit early for runway lighting.
Flight 120, expect vectors to ILS, approach runway 06. Descending to flight level 120 vectors. ILS approach.
I expect that we won't get runway lighting, but we might do, we'll find out. I could of course sneakily set the time forward, but that would be cheating. And we do not cheat on this channel. We do occasionally edit heavily, but we do not cheat. Okay, so I'm making my final turn towards the VOR EDN. Well, I lie, there is actually another turn after that, which is to the transition point UW. But I suspect I would have got my vectors before then. If not, I'll be getting vectored in that general direction. I do quite like the lighting effect when it gets a little bit late in the day. Yeah, the light is kind of bouncing off the terrain a little bit and lighting up the water, and yeah, it's quite pretty. There's locks over there, like long strings of water. Typical glaciation features. They're very deep but very narrow and long bodies of water, because they're basically just striations carved out of the landscape by ice.
190, descent to flight level 70, QNH 10290.
Up to 7,000.
Flight level 70, QNH 1029, speedbird 7190.
Set the QNH. We're under 18,000 feet, so we're going away from standard back to the real QNH. I'm still in VNAV mode, so the computer's managing the descent rate. It will calculate it to get me to the height programmed into my VNAV profile. So when I get to EDN, I should be at 6,600 feet. So he sent me down to 7,000, assuming that I don't get cleared below that. we should arrive at 7,000 just a smidgen or so before EDN. It means that I don't have to worry about managing the descent rate myself or calculating it. Great for lazy pilots. So in the meantime, I get to descend through these lovely fluffy clouds. So I'm thinking about buying Active Sky Cloud Art, which I hear is pretty good. Give me some extra cloud beauty. I think the default clouds are pretty good as it is, but I'll be interested to see what that does for me.
Blue Star 373, descend when ready, flight level 40 before begin.
Wideview is actually very well synchronised to the computers. Remember that if you start Active Sky at exactly the same time on both machines, with both machines at the same sim time, it will generate exactly the same clouds. And so as long as you keep them synchronised, things should stay about the same.
Contact approach control 120.1.2.
Descending to flight level 70.
Okay, we're able to approach.
Speed bird 7190.
619 Lima, passing flight level 184, descending flight level 150.
Just passing through 11,000. And through a cloud.
19 Lima, hello, to continue on the heading, descend flight level 13 today. Flight level 130, on the heading 219 Lima.
Approach, speed bird 7190. With you passing flight level 110 for flight level 70.
Now, right ahead of us here, may just be able to make out.
Runway 06.
Vectors for ILS approach, runway 06.
Yeah, I expected vectors, that's what we're getting. You can see that's the Firth Road Bridge, and that's the Forth Rail Bridge. And the airport itself is actually just down here. We're literally just went under the nose. So we are in fact very near, but we're still at 9,800 feet. And if things follow,
70502 starting descent now. We are starting descent, 70502.
so what I'm going to do, given that the next turn is coming up shortly, I'm going to switch to heading select mode, so that I'm ready for vectors. Like I say, I'm pretty sure he's going to vector me straight down towards UW anyway, but I don't want to make the turn when I've been told to expect vectors, so...
Speedbird 7190. Turn left, heading 260.
And there you go.
Left turn to heading 260. Speed bird 7190.
There's the airport. Can't really miss it. It's big and it's there. Now, this airport has 2,000. I'm going to turn on the fasten seatbelts sign. This airport has 2 runways by the looks of it. In the real world, I believe there is only the one. At least one active at Edinburgh. Of course, layouts change and the airports don't get updated that often. I'm not quite sure when the latest UK 2000 update came out, but it was a while ago. Okay, speed brakes can come in again.
Okay. Speedbird 985D, send along 90. Send along 90, Speedbird 985.
So all in all, I'm really enjoying being back in the QualityWings BA146 series. When I originally had it, back in the desktop sim days, back in those days I was the mile high geek in exile. I mean, yes, I'm not great at picking names, sorry, but that was my old blog. I didn't have a YouTube channel back in those days. I wasn't making videos, but I did have. I'd been trying to build a shell for a simulator for quite a while, and I hadn't actually been doing any simulating, you know, not running the thing at all. I had a simulator PC I'd built which was gathering dust in the cupboard because I was so obsessed with trying to build this shell, and I realised ultimately that the only way to make it work was to do both at the same time. You know, I had to be able to fly to get the reward out of it whilst I was also building, and I scaled down my ambitions when I moved house and said, okay, I'm going to build a kind of a cockpit without shell build here in my back bedroom, and then eventually put up a shed in the back garden where I could have a proper shell build and a much bigger screen. And I guess at that point I'll become the back garden pilot. And I found that as long as I kept the simulator up and running, I kept the energy, I kept the inspiration, and I kept the desire to keep working on it. And so I've had a desktop sim up and running for quite a few years.
Turn left, heading 250.
Left turn to heading 250, Speedbird 7190.
And if you go back to that era in my old house, so that's sort of 2013, I was just starting to sort of add add-ons and get planes, and I bought the QualityWings 146 Ultimate 146 series, as it was then called, and I installed it and was very impressed, given that I'd flown in those planes a few times. Really liked the look of them.
Descent to 4,000.
But
to 4,000. Speedbird 1458.
But I found the complexity of the systems to be difficult to deal with, and my flying skills were definitely rudimentary at the time, and I didn't really get to do much of anything with it before I switched over to Prepared, and fairly quickly in Prepared version 3 the Avro stopped working, and it was then a good couple of years before they produced a version that did.
Speedbird 7190. Turn left, heading 110. Descent to 4,000. QNH 1030. Descent to 4,000.
Here we go.
QNH 1030.
Left turn to heading 110, descend into 4,000, QNH 1030. Continue on navigation to CI06. Descend into 4,000, QNH 1030. ILS approach, runway 06, Speedbird 7190.
And now, turning on approach mode. Right, I'm actually almost bang on the glide slope right now. So as long as I don't miss it, I'll be good. Should be picking up any second now. Haven't quite picked up the localizer yet.
Singapore 73960, send down to 5,000 feet, QNH 1007
Okay, landing lights going on.
5,000 feet.
APU is going on. PTU is going on. Gear is coming down. There's the runway ahead of us. I've intercepted the glide slope and the localizer. That is nice.
Tower, Speedbird 7190. On final, runway 06.
Speedbird 7190. Slow to final approach speed. QNH 1030. Clear to land runway 06.
Final approach speed.
Okay, we're clear to land.
1030. Clear to land runway 06. Speedbird 7190.
APU gen is in, APU air is in. Engine air going off. We are looking good for landing. don't currently have my auto land on. I've only got one navigation radio tune. Technically you need two in order to auto land. I think the auto land system would work on one. So if I actually put in the other one, 108.9.
Overtakes at 757, and when the British Airways 747 departs, line up 27 right.
I wonder if it'll actually offer me auto land.
When the British Airways 747 departs to line up 27 right, so...
Seabed 816,
Doesn't seem to be.
747 to overtake you, and here departs, line up 27 right.
But that's alright, doesn't really matter. Let's get ready to do a proper manual landing. Okay, we're coming up to 2,000 feet. We will take off the autopilot at 1,000 feet. Just follow the glide slope in. Should be nice and easy.
Midland 823 after the British Airways 757 holding the left hand side of the holding area, departs, line up 27 right.
Yeah, the auto land actually is now active. But I'm going to have a go at this myself. Notice I've actually not turned my console lights on because it was really pretty light in here when I started. There's the outer marker.
Tower, Speedbird 1458, on final request landing, runway 06.
Speedbird 1458, clear to land runway 06. Slow to final approach speed, QNH 1030.
Clear to land runway 06, final approach speed, QNH 1030.
Full flight's telling me I've just hit 3 miles. 1,300 feet.
Tower 772, holding short at runway 06, ready for departure.
772, hold your position.
Holding up
1,100 feet. 1,000 feet, autopilot coming off. Autopilot's off. Stay on the glide slope. That's like a viaduct down there. Kind of boxy, warehousey sort of buildings, I assume they're probably warehouses. Luckily the weather is very still, so there's no real need to correct.
Runway 27, 250 degrees, 16, runway damp.
Clear take on runway 27, 639.
I'm dead on according to the PAPI lights. Auto throttle goes off. Ooh, I think I'm a little ways off. Yeah, I'm definitely a little way off the runway there. There's the marker.
100.
That warning Speedbird 296, 27 left, 6.5 miles.
30. 20. 10.
Come on. Ooh, well off to the side of the runway. I mean, you know, any landing you can walk away from.
7190, gate is right, contact ground control on 121.75.
121.75, Speedbird 7190.
Veteran 43, proceed to Sierra. Speedbird 2945, hold your position, I will call you.
Roger, hold position, Speedbird 2945.
Speedbird 2945, continue taxi.
Roger, Speedbird 2945.
And overhead bins for all personal belongings that you brought on board. Please take care when opening the overhead bins, as the contents may have shifted during flight.
Okay, let's stop there for a minute. Landing lights off, strobe lights off, and I'm also going to turn off those rather annoying radios. Bear with me a second. There we go. Alright, let's call to ground.
Speedbird 7190 is cleared off the runway. Request taxi for parking.
Speedbird 7190. Taxi 5 Alpha to Terminal 1 Gate 6.
Viam Alpha to Terminal 1 Gate 6. Speedbird 7190.
Okay, at this point, I'm now going to ask GSX to help me. So that was Gate 6. So, show all positions. Next page. Next page. Next page. Next page. Try that again.
Ground EZ432. Request.
Where was 6? Oh, there it was. Number 7.
432. Taxi 5 Sierra Alpha to runway
no.
06.
No, follow me. And we're going to be serviced by British Airways, of course. Okay. Flaps are retracted. Got a fellow company aircraft there. So it didn't quite get dark enough for runway lighting, unfortunately. No, it's just starting. Just starting. Gate 6 is over to the right there.
Parking stand 8.
So things are a little bit choppy. A little bit choppy. As I said, this is a pretty hardcore airport. But it's not terrible. I don't feel the need to go down to sparse or anything.
Ground 267, request startup.
267. Startup is approved.
Roger, 267. Roger,
Stop
267.
here for a second. Okay, now you can't see any parking stuff over here at the actual gate because of course this is the client computer. So what I'm going to do now is switch you over, and then we're going to switch over to just the outside view, free of any encumbrances, and you can see how the GSX thing works. Now if I could get this to work across both computers, I would be a happy man. You see the runway lights are just going on now. I've got to go a little ways here because remember the nose wheel is a long way back. Around here, and there is my guy waiting for me. And as you can see, we actually get a little decimal display in the air showing us how far off we are, one way or the other.
27 Victor Foxtrot, contact Manchester 124.2 by.
Slow down a bit. The Marshal, of course, is standing right in the middle of the pushback truck, which looks a bit silly. But there you go. Just slow down a bit more. And we're done. Parking brake goes on. Oh, why is waving like that? I said parking brake goes on, thank you. Yeah, are you telling me to cut my engines? Which I will do. And if we go back into the real world, you can see we don't have the parking arrangements there, but we have parked in just about the right place. And off he goes. Just hop back into the virtual cockpit. Turn off that alarm. Okay, so fuel pumps apart from the inner go off, engine air goes off, packs go off, APU air goes off, heaters go off, engine pumps go off, generators off.
ET639, taxi uniform, holding point Alpha 2.
Uniform Alpha 2, runway 27, thank you.
And then beacon lights go off. Okay. Now, if I pop you back outside, we can ask GSX to operate the jetway. Now again, I've not found a way to make this also work on the client PC at the same time, so I'm afraid we're not going to see it there.
Correct, you're just crossing the control
Jetway movement is a little bit unnatural, especially since the wheels are sinking into the ground, but what are you going to do?
2,500 feet. Full code for zone.
Jetway is in position. You can see from there. Gratuitous tower shot, no idea. Press the wrong button there. Try that again. There we go, that was the view I was looking for. So it's docked.
Postcode 40 right, vacate next right, into the apron of Victor, parking stand 8.
There's cargo loader, waiting to go. So let's not keep him waiting any longer. If I move around here, and now tell GSX to request deboarding. What I do need to do is turn off the seatbelt sign, so passengers know they can leave. Operated the jetway, now I'm going to open the cargo doors.
Patrick 43, proceed to Seattle.
Ground Ryanair 8824, request taxi.
Ryanair 8824, taxi 5 Echo Alpha to runway 06.
Via Echo Alpha to runway 06, Ryanair 8824.
For some reason the cargo doors don't seem to want to open. There we go. Okay, so the baggage unloading will happen if we sort of move around here. Sometimes you can actually see people disembarking into the jetway, but not always.
Ground EZ242, request taxi.
EZ242, taxi 5 Echo Alpha.
So this I think is where GSX does better. At airports like this that have the facilities in place, have the space, that have the regular parking, where GSX has probably got a decent chance of having the right setup, and particularly with jetways, you haven't got to muck around with buses and stuff. You notice it's also put in a set of stairs for the rear door, but obviously I'm not going to open the rear door because nobody's getting off that way, and it's not trying to prompt me to do that, so passenger deboarding I think may have already happened.
Electric 43, vacate right to Foxtrot.
There goes a Ryanair next to me. Quick view from the tower. It's a bit of the airport, this. Anyway, back into the cockpit. So baggage unloading is done. Deboarding is completed. So yeah, the passengers must have shuffled off to the jetway nice and quickly. Normally I'm fairly sure there is there are some passenger announcement sounds for sort of, you know, thanks, bye, but guess we missed them. Anyway, baggage unloading is complete, so cargo doors can be shut. And there we go. And since deboarding is completed, we'll also close the first main entry. And there you have it. Well, like I parked a little bit shy. Well, he did tell me to park there. So, that is Newquay to Edinburgh. That one was for you, James. And I hope you enjoyed it, and everybody else too. If you stuck with it all the way through. I think with the judicious editing in the middle, I might actually get this into one video, so I guess you'll know whether you're watching part 1 or part 2. This will probably set the style for future videos of this kind. And I'll probably do a little bit more with the Avro, and then maybe move on to another aircraft. Thinking I might take this one from here to Amsterdam, just to check out the updated True Earth scenery. Now I do have Flytamper's Amsterdam, and I have to say it is, well, it's brilliant, but it's an absolute frame rate killer. If you think London's bad, Amsterdam with Flytamper, wow. So I'm trying to find the optimal performance. I'm also trying to fix some scenery issues with True Earth Netherlands. If I get all those fixed and I can get performance that I'm comfortable with, then I'll do a flight probably from here at Edinburgh to Amsterdam, and then maybe I'll finish the whole series off by doing Amsterdam back to London, but maybe Heathrow this time, and then it'll be time to move on to another aircraft. I've got the cross-country series coming up, where I'm going to fly from Land's End to John O'Groats in probably the DA42, maybe the DA62, certainly a small sporty light aircraft like that, and we're going to take a good long look at the points of interest on the Orbeck scenery. But I was hoping that we'd get GB Central and GB North before I started doing that, because otherwise I might start and then have to stop for a while. Anyway, that's all there is. If you enjoyed the flight, then let me know. All comments are always gratefully received, positive or negative. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos when I publish them, which should hopefully be a lot more frequently than of late. I mean, this is 3, maybe even 4 videos in 2 weeks. Who would have thought that would ever happen? And I really do want to increase the content, so there should be stuff for you to come back to. And that being the case, I look forward to seeing you on the channel very soon.